should be live as of now. Sure things are going. Okay, the Mixto chat should appear throughout. Alrighty, welcome. Got another exciting stream today. Should be fun, I imagine. Time will tell, but at the least I'm excited. How are things? Having data issues? Be pretty rough if I was. Why? You can't hear me? Maybe now? Please? It seems like it's running smoother. Nope, never mind. I don't know anymore. Hold on. I can check. It keeps buffering on my end, which is worrying me. It seems like YouTube thinks it's fine, but I don't necessarily trust it. Try it again? I'm royally confused. Hoping that might have fixed it? I don't know. Oh, this is so confusing. Is stuff working? Are we good now? Please? Why would it give me technical difficulties when I'm already late? I hate this. I think things work now. Please? I beg. It seems like things are working. My end seems smooth. I have to restart my streaming software. That was so weird. Not a big fan, to say the least. Hi, everyone who's still here. Apologies for all the technical difficulties. I don't know what happened. Kinda caught me off guard. I have no clue. None. Anyway, hi, welcome. This is the first Limbus stream in quite a while. But hey, I'm excited to be back. They got a new chapter, canto, whatever you want to call it. It should be fun. That is the point. So with that in mind, let's just get into it, honestly. I don't see the point of delaying, especially since I'm already so late. I'm gonna be honest, I got very engrossed in Ultra Kill. And then the 20 minutes before stream turned into like an hour. Not my brightest moment, but here we are. Yeah, not my best. I should have kept track of the time better. Oh well, it's a thing. You can't really change it now. Let me just get it on screen. There we go. Welcome back to Limbus Company. Been a while. So for today, I'm gonna just kind of manage as usual. We'll go through things. We'll take in the story. I don't know what to expect. I know this is Honglu's chapter, but I think most people could guess that based on this season. It's like pretty obvious. I don't think anyone missed that. So otherwise I got nothing. I don't know. This is gonna be interesting. So with that in mind, let's head over to the canto. Immediately starts off with a battle, which is interesting. Our units should be fine for now. If I need to level them later on, I will. But yeah, for now, let's do this. So Slash looks like it's gonna work best. I have a number of Slash IDs. I don't have the current best one. I'm gonna try to have that for next time, but it's just kind of how it is. I can't get hit. I don't have the crunch. It's very sad. Very sad. In fact, there really isn't a lot of balance to this game. It's just kind of the people I have who happen to do slash damage best. Okay, let's put myself in the top, because that fits better. Flowers wilt, petals fall, A drizzle of blossoms sky blotting. Colors fade, fragrance dies, but who shall mourn their passing? To the garden I go, in hand a flower rake, only to pace, lest crushed by the scattered blossoms I make. Thus, in this troubled world, I breathe. To shut my eyes is my sole reprieve. Okay, right into it. How to voice you. I can do an old man voice. I don't know if I can do an old lady voice. I don't know what I want. Let's just do an older voice, honestly. It's hard to tell. At the same time, it feels wrong, because it's like, the generic old person voice just doesn't feel like it fits. This trick. Maybe I'll just go normal, honestly. I think that'll be fine. We'll hope it's fine. I'm not good at voices. Little boy. I'm gonna butcher so many words, I'm realizing. I did not plan for this. Oh, goodness. You must have walked and toiled tirelessly on your journey home. I wouldn't say I suffered much, grandmother. My days are always filled with new and interesting things to see. Good old Hong Lu. What are they talking about over there? They're sitting so far apart I can hardly hear them. I mean, is this even a dining table? I can't even see who's sitting at the other end from here. Is there anything bother you, dear guests? If this humble servant can help you with any... Oh, there's something bothering me, alright. We're in the middle of a meal. Can you please stop? Nope, not at all. Nothing's bothering us at all. Everything's good. Now, Baoyu, my boy, when will you introduce us to your new friends? Oh, boy. I never know how to act in front of others' parents. Where should I look? Is this an appropriate size for a polite smile? I hope I don't come off too smarmy. Maybe don't think aloud. I feel like that's where you should start. It's nothing to fuss over. Think of this as your own place and enjoy your time here. Thank ya. Whew, this place is so huge. I can hardly relax. I'm worried I might get lost going out for a cup of water. Oh, don't you worry. We have stray people shelters located all over the house for that. Our servants visit them once a month to collect anyone who's gotten unfortunately lost. If they're still alive, that is. Hong Lu. Sometimes. Hong Lu, that has to be the funniest joke you've ever told. I wasn't joking, but I'm glad you enjoyed it anyway. I must ask, Hong Lu, for I spy no other sibling of yours here. This is quite odd, for I thought this would be a welcoming parting for your return. Oh, there's her. I was wondering when she'd turn up. Hey, it's my welcoming party too. Besides, what makes you think we'd even want to see their stupid faces? Just to get mad? It's been like 10 whole years since we shared a meal together. Oh, and don't even think of trying to chat me up. Did you already forget what I said earlier? There is nothing between us anymore. We're enemies. Did we initiate the conversation though? Oh, I'm simply so glad that my son Boyo... I don't know how to pronounce this. I hate this. I feel like I'm saying all the words wrong. Has returned as a man who can now carry more than... or can now more than carry his own weight. Words. Hard. And unharmed too. So, dear Baoyu, I don't mean to rush, but when are you planning to depart again? Nothing has been decided yet, Mother. I see. I'm simply concerned that, were your stay here to be prolonged, perhaps you might fade before your duties are completed. Do you not also agree, Venerable Jiamu? Indeed. Dear Boyu, Our peerless treasure, tarry not over long in this mundane world. Leave when the time is right, and fulfill your worth. Okay, grandmother, mother. Throughout the entire familial discussion, Honglu's expression remained the same, in that tranquil, perpetual smile. Despite his return after years of wandering, being met by the family's oblivious push to make him leave as soon as possible, he stands unaffected, as though he were simply expecting this gaudy yet hollow welcome. Yeah, it is certainly interesting. As is playing as a clock person. My brain always partially forgets what Dante looks like, so when he appears on screen, it's like, oh, right, we're a clock. That is a plot point. With his attitude being so passive, I also had no choice but to watch as a bystander. A few hours ago. Alright. I wonder how far back this is. The Palanquin will be here soon. Or Palanquinil will be here soon. Palanquin! Whoa, so cool. That sure sounds like a fancy ride. Isn't that just super great? I never know how to voice Rodion. I can't. I don't understand. Oh yeah, son. Are we planning a palanquin or whatever it's called to give us a ride all the way to the mansion? The usual comedy pairs of desperate efforts to lighten the mood are particularly appreciated today, as tragically ineffective as they seem to be. Yes, the LCB and Jiajun will be heading to Dagyuyang, Grandview Garden, where one of the most prominent families of H-Corp reside. If they sent a whole palanquin to pick us up, Does Honglu's family already know that we'll be participating in the family hierarch war? No, it's unlikely that they are aware. After all, it can be assumed that most likely the reason that the company waited until the last minute to relay this order was to minimize the chance of the information leaking. Therefore, it would be correct to presume that the palanquin is merely a gesture of welcome from Honglu and Jiajun's return. Which means only the invited, Honglu, Jiajun, and their factions can ride in the palanquin to Daegyun. I swear I'm mispronouncing all these words. It bothers me to no end. Unfortunately, this means the LCCB, Virgilius, and Sharon will be unable to join you for this journey. I mean, is that really any different to usual? I feel like that's pretty standard. They show it sometimes, but for the majority of it, we are on our own. That isn't new. That's too bad. It would have been nice if we could all go there together. Just as petty as I expected from the seniors of our family. Would it kill them to house a handful more people in that humongous park of a house? Not like they'd notice the difference. Oh my, how touching. Looks like Miss Jiajun thinks she'll miss us too. What a thing to say to my face after that shameless backstabbing. I mean, do any of you even comprehend what it means to participate in the family hierarch war? Do you even understand why we call it a war when the official name for it is an evaluation? You're risking your lives by getting involved in this. Once you get in there, you'll be stalked at every turn by people looking to kill you, including me. Hey, Rudy's World Owner, welcome. Good to see you, good to see you. Let me move chat up so it's out of the talking box. But hi, welcome, welcome. Good to see you, as always. There we go. I think I'm happy with that positioning. You missed the Easter event, by the way? Figures, honestly. Computer broke, not a lot I could do about it. Remember how Wei saved your life back at that fake Kazan? Now imagine the same scenario, except this time it could be Wei who's there to kill you. I must say ahead of time that this is truly a regrettable turn of events. I do not wish to have to fight any of you, but... Wei looked at us with an unfamiliar and cold, intense glare. Well, we feel very much the same way. Looks like we're on the same page there. This means that this means that I'm also fair game. You can stab me in the back again. Literally this time. No, never. I wouldn't dream of doing something like... Jun ignored Sinclair's anxious pleas and looked straight toward Hong Lu. This could be the last chance to change your mind, brother. I didn't invite you to join my faction with a light heart. Besides, it's the family hierarchy war. This isn't something you can just flippantly decide that you want to participate. I know the life you've lived, Jun. I also grew up hearing those countless tales about the family hierarchy war, just as you did. So the weight we're feeling must be the same. Right, so this is where our tenacious alliance really ends. Or no, tenuous words. I was like, tenacious doesn't sound correct. Did I misread it? Apparently. Well, not like I care. It did drag on a little long for a temporary alliance forged out of convenience. We're just going back to how things used to be. That's all. And that's fine by me. I think that's enough chit-chat with you then. Okay, if that's what you want. Oh, you? What? Please don't tell the family that I'll be participating, will you? I was told to keep this secret for now. Tell me one reason I should do you that favor now. For someone who supposedly doesn't care, Yoon appeared rather hurt as she took a moment to glare at Hong Lu, biting her lower lip. Then suddenly strode right up to him. Oh? Is this even your call, brother? Or are you just following their orders? Jun gestured toward the rest of us with her chin. My participation in the family hierarchy war is already decided. If you're still curious to know why, then... Jun, do you believe that my choices carry any significant meaning? Oh, I see what's up. This crap again. So you already know what participating in the war means, but you just have no idea why I'd ever ask you something like that, huh? Fine. Looks like I don't even need to hear your reply. There's no point in trying with you anymore. At least I'll have fun watching how far you get with that shallow, meaningless attitude of yours. Hey, wait. Jun appeared pretty distressed after that exchange, so I was about to say something when Pilot, who had been fiddling with the radio beside Sod, began shouting urgently. Whoa, Manager Sod! Harlequin. I can pronounce words, I promise. Been seen coming this way. I'd like to chill a bit today. Yesterday was too tough. Oh well, let's head over so we can at least relax on the way there. Nope, we're taking this one. You never think twice about giving things up to others anyway, do you, brother? Huh? What the heck do you mean? Come on, let's do this fair and square with rock, paper, and scissors? Wow, sure. Why not just tally the next hierarch with a game of rock, paper, scissors too? How's that? Jun gave us a wry grin before leaving. Wei followed her wordlessly. Boy, and I thought we were finally making some friends out here. Look, over there! It's the group we've been waiting for the Palanquin. One of them must be the candidate for the client told us about. Everyone, there's a group of hostile-looking people coming our way. She is unlikely to be the one who's going after the other candidates. Executive Manager, we must take care of them before the next Palanquin arrives. Yeah, what can we do, right? And we're getting into our first battle. Time to move the camera. Let me just do this so I can do this. There. Okay, so I've moved the face cam so we can just see stuff better. Let me zoom in a bit so we can see all of this better. I think this will work. I luckily don't hide very much over here, so this will work for the battles. Let's get into this. I'm not sure how necessarily difficult this chapter is going to be. That's very up in the air. But we're going to give it a go. So, let's see here. Honestly, I think despite the benefits of this Honglu identity, being that it consumes this skill to make this one stronger, I think I want to start off just winning the clash. I think Sanity's a bit more important. It'll probably come back up anyway. Either way, these ones shouldn't be that dangerous, I don't imagine. Odds seem about the same. I kind of want to save this move. Let's do yield my flesh, even though we're not actually yielding any flesh. Alrighty! So, first battle of the day. I guess we'll see how it goes. Overall, I'm feeling pretty good. Got a bunch of thugs. Not really much of a big problem. Alrighty, alrighty. So far, winning clashes, doing well, doing well. Like to see it, like to see it. We're doing some decent damage, I'd say. I might lower the volume just a smidge. It's a bit loud for me. I don't know how much of an impact it'll have on your all's end, but it should do. It should do. At the very least, the audio quality should increase. So, let's see here. We're going to want to do this so we guarantee that this is the one we consume. And then... it's unopposed, honestly. Let's not waste the good move. Let's do that. This should do. Perfection! It's always nice seeing clashes be won. As long as I get EX, honestly, it works. So... doing a bit of combat. I appreciate the skill consumption working in our favor. Alrighty. Next up. Honestly, I feel like we're pretty close now. There's 10 enemies, but these ones are on the way out. I think we might be able to kill some of them this turn. Let's see. Let's do that one on the off chance it does manage to slay them. Actually, no. If we're attacking them twice, just both. That works. That works. And like so, we just keep going. We hope for the best. Continue winning clashes and yeah. It's all a numbers game in the end. Limbus company. But I try my hardest. Overall, I'd say this is starting off as a pretty simple chapter. I'm not worried by any means. Granted, I hardly ever am at the beginning, and then it throws stuff like Ricardo at me. That battle still gives me pain. It still just does. It's just on my mind. Still, such things are inevitable. Gotta get used to it eventually. Game is far from easy. None of Project Moon's games are easy, to be fair. Lobotomy Corporation, Library, all of them. They just broke me to some degree. Righty, so we do have that skill, which can make these two stronger. Let's do that. And then I think the rest is just going to be basic attacks, honestly. We don't really need to do too much yet. It's all... we're mostly here for story currently. We might eventually hit a hard battle, but that's future me's problem. I don't care right now. Alrighty, 12. Nice, nice. We're almost done. 2 more. Run 6. Bit slow, but can't win them all in terms of speed. This should honestly do a lot of damage, I feel like. Unless you roll tails, you got max sanity. Come on. What are you doing to me? You're rude. And done. Perfect. I don't tend to bother doing anything too serious on the last turn. It just doesn't make sense for me. No sign of any enemy reinforcements, Executive Manager. At least there's an end to them this time. The guys that attacked us when we first got here were endless. Well, that's because we walked right into a trap then. Shallow, but still. Anyways, Yoon appeared pretty hurt by that, didn't she? Honestly, though, I get why she feels so betrayed. Remember all those stories about Honglu's family we heard? Imagine you're one of their kids, thinking that you finally found, like, a potential ally in your family, only for him to pretty much stab you at the back in the last minute. That is fair. Yeah, she's very fickle, I've noticed. Yeah. Distrusting, not untrusting. Those are different words. Yeah, right? It was pretty awkward for me too, even though I wasn't exactly involved. Saad chimed in nonchalantly, as though it wasn't her who pulled the plug on our alliance at the last second. Anyways, where's our escort? I can't imagine that H-Corp can't afford to send us guards with the palanquin. If this family loved each other enough to send escorts for their safety, I doubt they'd be holding a cutthroat ceremony like the family hierarch evaluations. It's a world where might makes right, where the strong prey on the weak. People won't bat an eye even if one of the dozens of candidates is found dead in some ditch on the road. It is grim. Oh, sorry, Hoglu. I must have been running my mouth again without thinking how that sounds. Someone usually stopped me before I got too far. Don't worry, you didn't say anything wrong. Hoglu is like the most positive character ever. You can't stay like this through the whole chapter, my guy. This is your chapter. You have to like have a mental breakdown or something. It's like required at this point. Everyone does. It took me a while to realize that the other families weren't like this, but there's no reason to be upset by the way things are. And just like that, our first stage is done. How things will develop from here, it's a bit up in the air. Who knows? But yeah, there we go. First level done. Moving on, we have story. Not shocking, but these are always the slowest bits, honestly. But we go through it so we can understand the plot. What is important? Huh, what's that ominous metallic noise? The tolling of bells. Bells with the resonance unlike any other, normally marked by their clarity. This bell is muddled, as though it tolls for an ill fortune on the horizon. Wow, that bell sure is a resounding reminder that I'm home again. It's the bell that tolls every once in a while. You can hear its resonance from anywhere in Hongyon. It's Reconstructing Day. It's interesting that it's been putting words in, like, quotes. Not used to it. Huh? But Reconstructing Day already... She trails off, unable to finish her sentence as a brutal scene unfolds before us. Whoa, are you guys seeing this? The buildings are all starting to shift. It was as Ishmael said, the buildings all tethered to a complicated network of rails, for either rising from or sinking into the earth. Why are we surprised? We saw that they moved during the sweeper event. Come on! Movement has been observed from every building in the vicinity. Everything is changing. The localized shifting of structures we had observed yesternight were not as sweeping as this. Okay, fine. I guess if it's a bit more intense. Oy. What you saw last night must have been a premonition? Oh, I don't see how so, but alright. Of the Reconstructing Day, nudging some buildings at their positions for a smoother overall redistribution of space. Okay, I think. Now this is the real deal. Huh, that whole mess was just a premonition. It's a remnant of the old H-Corp that was here long before the current Hongyon. This structure has been there a while, so we can't quite know the nature or purpose of its singularity. But at the moment, they shift based on the current H-Corp's reconstruction standards. The world's assembly shifts overnight. I don't know how you would say this one. Like, how so? Yet those who toiled and toiled have not to fear. Is it not joyous to have a place to rest your feet tonight? To those who weren't availed of fortune, this is simply the reality to bear. Only choice is to retreat in silence, to accept your fate as one might. Await the coming month, ponder how one might save their skin. How many shall plummet today, and how many shall remain? Hold on not to all the things too tight, for you may lose sight when to let go, and feign ignorance when you must take flight. The consequence of reassembly for the evicted is an endless plummet. What a terribly distressing sight to behold, unable to do aught to help. Is this another one of H-Corp's idiosyncrasies? I don't know. Didn't other nests also have their own measures of one's wealth? As T-Corp makes use of time as currency? Exactly. H-Corp's measure of wealth and currency is based on how much space a person owns, measured by a scale they call rooms. IDs? Oh. Man, words are just escaping me today. It's becoming a common thread. The measure of one's space is the measure of one's wealth. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Exactly. So once every month, the worth of each person's labor and quantity of their income are measured to determine how much space they're assigned. So they can just kick me out of my home for no reason? What kind of ridiculous rule is that? Well, it might appear that way to outsiders like us, but the calculations behind these redistributions are meticulously designed and have been here for a long time. So it seems to me that everyone just accepts them as a natural part of their lives. Have you seen this happen in person too, Honglu? This restructuring day? I have. Sometimes I'd watch the cityscape from behind the railings of my room. It happened far, far away from me, but I could see it all very well. His expression remains tranquil and still as he calmly reminisces. It was like then, when he was merely watching the featureless scenery passing by. Thank you. Dag Wu Yang. Pain. My old home. Was never too concerned about the reconstruction days. We'd get more rooms some days, but we never, ever shrink. So I've never been affected by these reconstruction days. I only ever witnessed them as they happen beneath me. Excuse me. Very late for me. But such is my schedule at the moment. High up in my room. Fine. I thought it was anything you could have done, but you just sat on your hands and watched all this shite. Heathcliff trailed off, but I could see that he was grifting his teeth. Another palanquin's coming. And there's your ride. I think we've chatted enough, so let's get you guys going. This is a palanquin? Yep, it looks like they sent us a palanquin large enough, to comfortably seat a big crowd of people together. Young Master Chiapu and 12 honored guests. Is that correct? It's 13 to be exact. But I thought Sod wasn't invited. Whoa, hold your horses. I was told that young Master Boyo's faction would be just 12 people. Upon hearing that, Sod began aggressively striding toward him, causing the palanquin bearer to shrink in fear. Whoa, slow down, lady. We are 12 people. What's wrong? I mean, don't tell me this thing looks like a normal contributing member of the clan, do you? Sod suddenly grabbed my shoulders and presented me before the bearer, like I was some product. I mean, it's a pretty unique head this one's got there. Don't think I've ever seen anything like it around here in Yongyan. But isn't it just a prosthetic? In the shape of a clock, I guess? But still. I mean, let me ask you something. Can you imagine why anyone in the right mind would stick a clock where their head's gotta go, even if they were hurting for cash? No way, ma'am, never. There are way more versatile bio modifications available here in Yongyan than whatever the heck that job is. Nobody in the right mind ever would. Exactly, right? No idea what went down, but this fellow sure seems to have fallen on hard times. Too bad we live in a world where such misfortune can befall even an honest soul like them. Boy, oh boy. Looks like this one got scammed. Nasty scam, too. Whatever backstreets they got from, must have been a real scoundrel who did it. And look, even the clock isn't on time. This poor person is barely conscious. Look, all they can do is make these weird ticking noises because they don't even have a mouth. We're just guilt-tripping this driver, man. Goodness. Those were some pretty darn hurtful things to say, but I decided not to take them at face value. It was pretty obvious what she was trying to do. Somebody tell Sod I'm getting dizzy. Good grief, you weren't kidding. Who could have done something so awful? It's a real blessing that young Master Boyu's got such a kind-hearted soul. He simply could not walk past the Timepiece Emporium selling this human being like they were some toy or tool. So he picked them up to get their head replaced with something proper. Young Yu's got some more enough resources for something like that, right? Oh, well, you're not wrong there. It's easy to swap out your whole body as long as you got enough cash to burn. What? A new head? For me? Right, see what I mean? So that's why I told you that the young Master Boyo has only 12 people in his faction, including yours truly. Well, I see your point, but we can't just let all of us board. Yes, our young master fully understands the moral conundrum you find yourself in. So we'd like to offer you this tiny, tiny token of appreciation. She always gets somewhat scary when it's just like shadow over the eyes. It's like, I'm not messing with you. Nope. Oh man, lady, you really shouldn't do this. I really shouldn't. Oh, and another thing. I'm sure I don't need to tell you this, but if word of this gets out, things might get pretty messy for both of us. And that doesn't have to happen, does it? Ahem. Indubitably, ma'am. I'm doing this purely out of the goodness of my heart, after all. What's a free ride in the downtrodden, eh? Seems to me the bloke's doing this purely out of interest for the fatness of his wallet. Alright, stop gossiping over there and get on board. Wait, are we leaving Pilot here alone? Pilot seemed to have not noticed me staring in his direction. He stopped fidgeting with the radio and waved at us. Don't worry about me, and have a safe trip over there. I've got some stuff to handle on the outside. This design is more akin to an extravagant limousine than a palanquin. Oh, look, a bottle of champagne. Can I chug this? Of course not. Drinking while on a mission is... Okay. With a quick clap, Sod promptly put an end to the hubbub and unexpectedly flashy appearance of the palanquin caused. Her demeanor had shifted entirely to that of a calm and collected strategist. A far cry from the person who was chatting up the storm with the bearer just a minute ago. Time to get to work, everyone. Okay, I guess. I'm a little nervous, but you know, I'm sure we'll be fine. What could go wrong? Disruption! 2 levels higher this time with the recommended. Still, my guys are all level 50, so I don't imagine it'll be too hard. Suppose time will tell. You gotta see how we got into combat in the first place. Then you'll... Wait. Something's going on outside. Not long after Sod paused over Otis's remark, a grating speaker whine rang out, followed by the worried voice of the bearer on the other end. We're under attack! I thought things were going a little too easy. No surprise that other candidates are trying to eliminate us just in case. Why am I not surprised? So that's how we get in battle. Okay. Alrighty! Back to fighting. So, we got more pretty basic enemies, honestly. I don't think this will be too challenging. I don't know. I guess we'll see. They look pretty easy. I don't anticipate problems. I just don't. But you know, we'll manage. Alrighty. So far, so good. I like to see it. I like to see it. So we got favored, we got dominating, favored. Ideally, we want this one to do that. We don't really need to use the stronger move. Alrighty. So overall, chapter is interesting. I don't really know where the plot's going yet, but we barely started, to be fair. I think it's understandable we don't know yet. If anything, I'd be surprised if we did, to be honest. Oh, my guy got staggered! No! How dare you? You're not allowed to do that. Only I'm allowed to stagger. Come on. Alrighty. Alrighty. Looking pretty good so far, honestly. Performance-wise, things are working, I'd say. Good job, eliminated 3 of them. Just 7 more to go. Honestly, I think at this point we're just safe damage. As long as I don't see any clash that isn't at least favored, I don't really have much to worry about. Things are looking good. Just a few more bad guys to go. Okay. Last 4. Alrighty, let's take them down. Doesn't really matter now what I use. I imagine they're all going to go down this turn anyway. I could very well be wrong, but let's be honest here. I'm fine. Look at this madness. I'm clearly not losing, at the least. But you know, I'll take. That's always nice. Winning. Perfect. That works. Winner is me. Oh, right into Disruption 2. It just keeps going. I suspect we're just gonna go immediately into combat. I don't think it's gonna throw story at us again. It could, but no, we're still in battle. Okay. Yeah, sometimes the game does that. It just throws in an extra battle. That's fine. I don't mind too much. Go for it. Okay, pretty good so far. I'd honestly rather it be safer. Maybe we can make it so this one works, but I'm not crossing my fingers. At least I can do that. So I increase the odds. Nothing there to consume, really. Other than the other one will do it. That way next turn I get the full 3. Let's go! Nice. It is fitting that Honglu's idea is probably the one I'm paying most attention to. It's very fitting for this arc. Alrighty. They're all staggered. So let's use some of the weaker moves, honestly. I don't think we need anything too big. They're all staggered. They're gonna take more damage. No one cares. Another one down. Okay, we got a couple more. A few of them on their last leg. Honestly, I think I'm happy with that. That's also dominating, I guess. So I don't reasonably think we need too much issue. Keep rolling higher numbers, people. We don't want to start losing the clashes. That's when things go wrong. And things going wrong. Not on my list of things to do today. Alright. Last ones, I believe. Let's just damage. I don't anticipate it'll take more than 2 more turns to beat this. Things are looking up, if I do say so myself. That is some good rolling. That is some good rolling. Love to see it. Do some damage. You what? Yeah, I didn't think that was likely to work. Oh, but now you're screwed. Yeah. Then we deal with you. And finally, you. Come on, die. Bingo. That's what I like to say. Things are going good. I like it. Especially since some of the IDs I've yet to use just get free XP out of this. It's great. Less tickets for me to use at the least. Alrighty, it looks like we're going back into story mode. So, let's see. Entering Dangun now. Alrighty. Despite some troubles on the way, it seemed that we managed to arrive at our destination, mostly unhurt. Dang Yun, Honglu's old home. We're running out of time. First, I'm sure you understood the most important part of my plan, right? It is unlikely to be a pleasant sight to behold. Remember, the plan hinges on your patience, everyone. You have to remain calm and wait, even if they freak out and actively try and kill you. There is a chance they might panic and immediately order the sinners to be executed on the spot. However, it's unlikely that the person whose responsibility it is to judge the next family hierarch of Hongyun will make such a nasty response. Exactly. Everything's gonna be fine as long as you decipher. As long as the decipher has the capacity for patience. Or decider. Man, I really am tired. Oy. Execution, what? Great. I'll follow up with any subsequent contact once you've safely completed the first round of evaluation. After that cryptic exchange with Faust, Sod leapt gracefully off the moving palanquin as Heathcliff murmured in his half-sleep. We watched her grow smaller and smaller as the distance between us grew. What really caught our eyes was the scattered humans that were reconstructing day had evicted their homes. They were trying to drag their broken bodies off the road, sobbing and withering. This is horrible. There isn't anything we can do to help, but such a sense of futility and powerlessness will negatively impact the efficient performance of our professional obligations. Repeated exposure to similar stimuli is recommended to desensitize oneself to the sensation. Ah yes, desensitize yourself to feeling bad for people. That's a great plan. So, Honglu, how do you feel about going back home after so long? Sinclair changed the subject. I don't know. Don't even need to ask him, lad. I know it can't be easy. As for me, blimey, I hesitated almost 1,000 times. Wonder if I should just turn around and leave. What if I knocked on those gates, but she... Heathcliff came to a suffocating stop, his voice trembling lightly as he did so. The other sinners stared at him in confused silence. What? What is it? Why'd you stop in the middle of a... wow! Look at these cool windows! I think we could sort them out with other images. Good job, Dante. Distract them. I quickly tried to serve the subject again, but all I got was Ishmael's scolding glare that seemed to wordlessly tell me, not the time! I remember what happened each time one of us returned to a part of our city that held our memories. Memories of happiness, anger, sorrow, and joy. As we traveled, I remember that they were looking at the scenes as far as they could see. Rhodia, you awkwardly tried your best to crack jokes. Sinclair, you tried your best to hold back welling tears again and again. He's saying you shut your eyes for a long, long time. Ishmael, you couldn't stop talking to yourself while glaring down at the lake's surface. And Heathcliff, I saw you scared and anxious, shaping your hair over and over again. You've really been watching us closely, huh? Did we? Spring leaves, petals scatter, and all shall turn around to find the doors to which they belong and return forevermore. I think everyone has a small mound of petals they gathered for themselves. What? Why would someone collect something like that? Then you simply haven't discarded them yet. There was still a transparent smile on his face, but I think I saw a burying, sinking shallow behind it. Oh. The moment I felt that, a familiar light came into view, and I immediately understood what was going on. The golden bow is close, and it's resonating with Hong Lu's fathoms. They watch the flower burial of mine and mock away. Who lays me to rest once I die? When spring passes, youth passes, as wrinkles shear it all away. Flowers pass, people pass, and ignorant they remain to where they hide. Why do you always recite these strange, complicated poems, Dayu? There are plenty of ways to remain young, aren't there? Because we needn't see the slow in our hair to know that spring will pass. Or are you cleaning up those fallen petals? Just float them away downstream, you'll get dirt on your hands. And be so wasteful? How will we hear the sound of rain falling once we sweep all the petals away? This is a remembrance. Remembrance of a rainy day. I'm gonna treasure it. Besides, those beautiful blossoms will get dirty at the stream if we let them float away. So please, don't scatter all the petals from your embrace, big boy Boyu. Bro, words. Hong Lu. Is there anyone you miss here at Daguan? No, there isn't. But how's that possible? Your family's here, and a bunch of other people who are so important to you. Well, as long as I believe them to be doing well, there isn't any need for me to yearn to see them again. Do you still treasure your petals? No, I scattered them all the day I departed my home. So my rainy days are now silent. I see. You saw that, didn't you, Dante? You saw my memory. Indeed I did. Hong Lu laughed. He wasn't surprised or angry that I peered into his memories. Don't you want to tell us anything about your parents? Or, yeah, you talked about your grandmother pretty often, yeah? What did you say? Sinclair added carefully. Maybe he was trying to commiserate. Tenuous as that connection might have been, we were headed to his home to meet his family anyway. They're both very wise in the ways of the world. Grandmother always treated me preciously. So did my mother and my father. We're almost there. I can see the garden. This is one massive garden. True, but that's not really unexpected. We still have some time before we get to the main buildings. I remember the days when deer and hares would frolic around here in the garden. Well, I can see myself taking a long walk here. It'd take a whole day for me to cover the entire ground, though. I usually lingered around only in my room. It's too dangerous to stray too far, after all. Hey, you, guess what I'm working on? I can't say I'm sure, but sure. What are you working on, I guess? Dangerous, why? There's a stranger danger. Getting lost, getting tangled. Besides, it's very dark at night. Well, ain't that big a deal, is it? Kids run around, scrape their face on branches, trip and eat shite on the pavement all the time. I'm sure you would have run freely around the garden, Heathcliff, but it's important to always be careful. When I was 5, someone had lathed my body in deadly poison on a random tree branch. Poison? I had a little brother who liked to frolic like you do, Heathcliff. But by some coincidence, he happened to be running around the same tree that had its branches lathered in poison. What transpired thereafter? I'm sure he got better. Adrian told me that he'd be just fine after 100 nights rest. 800 is quite a bit more. And because Yun was always so smart, I'm sure it happened exactly as she said. Right. Honestly, I might have to just do like the first third tonight. I don't know if I have necessarily the energy to do all of it, because I'm starting to realize I'm getting tired. I might have to cut this stream shorter than I thought I would, which sucks. I really want to do the whole thing, but I don't think I can the longer I'm going, because we're barely like, it's going to be like 12 levels. And that's already going to be a pretty long stream, I feel like. And I'm tired. I don't want to just be like, I'm super low energy now, guys. Sorry. No one wants that. So I'll probably get through the first third. The story should take up plenty of time anyway. Entering Great Flower Hall now. It wasn't long before our arrival to the new place with Dangyun was made known by the palanquin bearer's sonorous announcements. More buildings. What's the haunting anyway? Grand Flower Hall. So I think you should call it a place for banquets. Huh. They host banquets in a village-sized venue? Is that not a lake over there? Nope, it's a pond. Pond. Ah. Damn. Once we arrive, we'll find ourselves at the welcome party for Ji-yoon and me. Rhodia, you should be able to stuff yourself to your heart's content this time. It's been a while, hasn't it? I don't think I've been this excited in a long time. Whoa. Is that a ship over there? You have a ship? Yep, we sometimes go out boating. Oh, and Ji-yoon's building is right across the pond. You each get a building of your own! Yes, we do. So when we first departed from Hanggun, I found the concept of an entire family living under the same roof so fascinating. Alas, it would be a challenge for thy family to see one another. And that's exactly why we each get a building. Are we even talking about the same thing here? A lack for woe! We could have merely enjoyed our vacations at Honglu's residence all along? That wouldn't have worked on Quixote. When I left home, grandmother and the elders really impressed upon me that the footsteps shall eventually bring you home when the time is right. Thus, witness, and only witness, as much of the world as you can before you make your return. I was wondering when that would be, but time really slipped through our fingers. And just like that, it brought me here. Most sinners did not welcome their return. Some were even terrified of it. Sometimes they'd had to comfort what felt like they'd been avoiding all their lives. And for some, important things that were once forgotten or lost are now waiting on their return. But their reluctance is not really surprising at all. I don't think I'd welcome the opportunity to get my memories back with open arms if I was just thrust upon me out of nowhere. Especially if I was getting dragged there against my will. But despite that fact, it couldn't be more obvious that his turn had arrived. Honglu was as tranquil as he always was. He always had been able to maintain an aloof attitude no matter what happened. Maybe it won't be different this time either. But even so, can I judge that so hastily? Young Master Boyu of the Jia family has returned. Again, with the palanquin's bare, deep, full-throated pronouncement of our arrival, the door opened. Here we are. You must be so tired. Come in, come in. Leaving behind the sinners, who were still reeling from the astronomical level of opulence at display, Honglu bounced lightly off the palanquin and moseyed into the building. Quite the light-footed steps he could take, unhindered by excitement or trepidation. Right? Rich boy's got nothing to fear because he's used to this kind of poshness. That's all it is. Verily, this must be a subtle expression of the teensy part of him that longeth to see his family again. Once we all left the palanquin, I find myself beset by overwhelming vastitudes of objects of great magnitude. Just how many servants do they have? Oh, grandmother will visit us once the hour arrives. I don't know what hour that is, but alright. The banquet will begin then, I think. Zhu hour? The hours refers to the time between 19 and 21. Or, more simply, I believe that would be... Making sure I'm doing math right. I believe that would be 9 and 7. So 7 to 9 p.m. I think. I could sound absolutely ridiculous right now, but military time is hard. In addition, we best remember that Honglu's grandmother, Jimu, is the hierarch of Dingxuan. It would be incorrect assessment to see her as the ruler of Hongguang. Words are hard. Your relative is the head of a wing, I see. Yes, though she'll be handing that over to the next heir pretty soon. Why now? What does she seek to achieve by abdicating at this precise time? Otis, as she probably saw an ulterior motive behind every move, inquired. She's been saying that her time would eventually come, and that she's carried this responsibility for too long. I bet she'd be pretty shocked to hear that you'll be taking part in the family hierarch war. I don't know about that. Maybe she'll take it well. There's never been any reason for me to bother participating, but there wasn't a reason for me to not either. Huh? Hey, there's Yoon and Wei over there. Looks like they both arrived safely. Yoon, who arrived before us, shot us the briefest glance before looking away with exaggerated disinterest. Yoon just turned her back on us. Well, didn't take things long to become super awkward. Oh, we must capture this opportunity to seat ourselves adjacent to Deng Jiyun. Too late. We are forever banned from ever getting anywhere near her. Yet we're for. We're no longer Jiyun's faction. Her hostility. Hospitality! I thought about it for a moment like that sentence doesn't make sense. What am I saying? Things have changed. Us versus them. In-group versus out-group. Deception and treachery are natural parts of war. An ally of today may well become an enemy tomorrow. And that's the funny way to say I don't have friends. What did you just... there are my parents. Hold on, we're just walking right up to them? Blimey, at least give us their names. Father's name is Yang, of the Jia family. And in Yang, they call my mother Lady Wang. Well, whatever. I greet you for the first time since my departure. Boyu, family of the Jia family, has returned home. You're early. Wow, dear Boyu, it has been too many years. See you again after so long. Hey, it's good to see your face. Oh, I don't even know what I should say. The father, Jun's eyes dart nervously between us and Honglu. Meanwhile, his mother gingerly brings him in for a careful embrace, as though she was in the presence of something utterly, deeply moving. It was more than pure joy for the reunion. I think I'm gonna just lose everything at this rate. I think after this story I'm gonna go for a moment, go get a drink, and come back, because that should help keep me focused. I want to get through at least a third. But they're Honglu's parents. Thank you so much for your hospitality. You've certainly spared no expenses. So, who are these people you've come here with? Well, there aren't too many of them. These are friends I made out in the world. At least he's not introducing us as his lackeys, like a certain someone I knew. Oi, that's, him. Honglu's mother slowly turns around to look at us. I mean, it's a weird thing to say, but somehow it's almost like they were looking down at each of us, one by one. I'm so glad to meet you all. Boyu's always been such a stubborn child. I'm sure he was quite the handful to accompany you on your journeys. I hope you can still embrace him despite every... Stubborn? Honglu? Whatever it was she said, they didn't seem all too happy to hear about that. I suspect it was the name. This whole time they've been calling him Boyu or something, however you pronounce it. But the point is, not Hong Lu. And then you use the words Hong Lu. I don't think they approve. Dear Boyu, why do you allow your friends to call you by that name? What of your noble blessed name, bestowed upon you by the revered Ziren, our elders? What's going on with her? Hong Lu reached down and, gently yet indifferently, held his mother's violently trembling hand. Of course I would, mother, because the name is too noble indeed. Oh, yes, it is not a name that any rabble should so heedlessly speak. Okay, sure, okay. Of course. Do you have an old name and a new name? Well, don't you remember, back in P-Corp, Wei called Hong Lu's young master Boyu. Also, remember how he announced himself before the duel when we arrived in H-Corp? He introduced himself as Boyu of the Jia family. I thought it was a pseudonym back then, though, given the circumstances. Well, it ain't like you're calling us your real name's gonna cheapen its nobility or whatever. Ugh. It's just a name. So no matter how many times you say it, as many times you want, as long as you don't depreciate it in whatever value it has. Oh, but some people do actually believe that it does, I suppose. It was wise of you to refrain from using that name. Right. So that your previous name be known among the plebeian populace is to encourage knives in the dark to strike, even here too. Just as your mother says, were your true name to be made known, any individual with a passing connection to H-Corp would have easily connected you to Hong Yuan. It is said that most names are repositories for their keeper's origins. In the eastern region of the city, when the parents name their children, they imbue them with meaning. It carries their wish for their children's place and use in the world. You, what does your name mean? My name is a culmination of wishes. Not only those of my parents, but those of many more. It means that I was born with a precious jade. Ugh, awful. Hong Lu's better. At least try to whisper! Ugh, I'll call the rich boy however I want to. If I'm ever forced to call him young Master Boyu or some other servile shite like that, I'd rather punch or chew from the guide. I could turn the guide as a color fixer. Big words. I could feel the horrified gaze of the servant staring at us. I don't mind. So please, continue to call me Hong Lu if you want. Please seat yourselves, honored guests. We'll have food served very soon. Okay. Oh my goodness. It's quite a bit of food. Oi, what's all this? Do they actually expect us to eat all this? I don't think I've ever been so intimidated by food before. There was, quite literally, a mountain of dishes on the table. I was starting to wonder if the purpose of the dishes was to flaunt their wealth than to feed us a reasonable amount. What a feast! I can ask for refills, right? Yes. Anyway, what's up with those empty seats over there? Are we still killing time for some guests to arrive? I don't think so. They're probably seats for my older siblings somewhere in Yingzhuan. They probably just don't want to attend. This is a banquet to welcome me, after all. I'm sure they believe it's a waste of time to attend. Man, they better be on some real busy schedule to miss this. Jiamu, venerated by her presence, graces us. With that announcement, utter silence quickly devoured the busy hubbub of the banquet. Those who were sitting quietly rose to their feet and bowed, while those who were standing knelt down on all fours, their backs bent so low their foreheads were nearly touching the floor. Oh, it's you, and you have scary people behind you. Why you do this? and the woman walking out from between them, the crowd itself parting down the middle for your sheer presence. Oh, there's grandmother. Okay, very casual. Was Honglu's grandmother, the family hierarch of H Corp, and its chief executive director. Jiamu's presence was at once warm, gentle, yet immense and overwhelming, like the personification of an insurmountable mountain. We are graced by your presence, Venerable Jiamu. We are graced by your presence, Venerable Jiamu. Should we bow too? I don't think you can bow any lower with your face halfway in the bowl, so you should be fine. Probably. She's surrounded by Haishu too, I think. Guys, everything's gonna be fine as long as we don't do anything stupid. As everyone was bowing for Jiamu, odd and humble. Only Honglu stood straight at Jiamu without bowing. Then he got up from his seat and walked toward her. It's been a while, grandmother. Please ascend, young Master Boyu. It seemed that a special permission was needed to even stand next to her, as Honglu was allowed to approach her only after the servant gave him the go-ahead. Little Boyu, you must have walked and toiled tirelessly on your journey home. Not at all, grandmother. I was able to learn so many new things thanks to everyone who treated me so nicely. Had you sought to master the art of learning, no master, regardless of pursuit, would have been out of your reach. You could have learned much in the halls of erudition from them. Yet the world taught from sheets of paper are simply that, words on paper. We wish that you, dear Boyu, would learn more of the secular world. Do not let it flow beneath your fingers the time that it is given to you. I know this opportunity was more than I deserved, grandmother. I appreciate your return all the same. That you have decided to return before me, ere by abdication of the great responsibility. Verily, I appeareth that young Honglu is shrewd into Limbus Company Ash Gran Turismo of shorts, Where talking is people who are eating is just hard. I think that's what's happening, but it's like, bro. Gran Turismo? What's that? Can the two of you stop babbling with your mouths full? Young master families most efficient are oft sent out to the world on a grand tour, thus coined this practice Gran Turismo, if thou wilt, afore they are to commence their public activities. The purpose is to learn the varied experiences that cannot be gained from books, to grow familiar with the world outside. I hear that you have met with Jiyun in the world not too long ago. I have. A bright child she is, well prepared to take on the challenges of family hierarch evaluations, I presume. I agree. I'm sure Jiyun will wisely overcome the trials. Indeed. Have you paid a visit to the revered elders then? I will. Soon. Lady Wang, ascend here as well. With your mercy, Jiamu, of course. Honglu's mother hurried up to where Jiamu stood. It must cause your heart great distress to have your one and only son depart his home, wander the world beyond the hedges. Of course not, Jiamu. Oh, I am simply so glad that my son, Boyu, has returned as a man who can now properly carry his own weight, and unharmed, too. Thus, dear Boyu, I don't mean to rush, but when are you planning to depart again? And we're back at the beginning. Nothing has been decided yet, Mother. I see. I am simply concerned that, were your stay here to be prolonged, perhaps you might fade before your duties are completed. Complete your duties and return soon, so that the agreement Jiamu has so graciously made for us is fulfilled. Indeed. Lose not, forget not. You are our family's one and only Jade. Dear Boyu, our peerless treasure, tarry not over long in this mundane world. Leave when time is right, and fulfill your worth. Okay, grandmother. Mother. That was like the longest bit of story ever. It's a bit hyperbolic, but still, that was madness to a degree. Okay. It looks like we have another long story bit coming up. I'm gonna go for a second. It looks like we have to get through 11 stages before we're a third of the way through, from the look of it. So I'm gonna go get a drink so that I'm just refreshed and can easier go through this, because there's a lot of reading and my voice is dying and I didn't grab anything. So I need something. So I'll be back. Give me a couple minutes. Thank you all for being patient. And I'm back. Camera's a little offset. But nonetheless, hello. I'm back to continue this chapter. I think we're going to go through the next 5 or so stages, which should put us through the first third or so. Can't quite see it behind the thing in the top there. But, long story short, this area is 33 stages long total. We're currently through 6 of them. So I figured we're going to stop at the 3rd mark, since that's a stopping point in of itself, because they release these cantos in 3rds. So it just makes most sense to me. Anyway, let's get a bit more story, I guess, because goodness knows there's a lot. Okay. I thought the sinners were doomed to chew uncomfortably through this incredibly awkward meal, but Jiamu and her retinue? I don't know how you quite pronounce that, to be honest. I left the banquet hall quite promptly after that exchange. It was as though they had no more reason to remain there. For once, it is not hot chocolate I have acquired, but tea. With a little bit of caffeine to just keep me going. It's not madness, it's not coffee levels, but it's enough that it's like, I get a small boost, which will hopefully help. Because I'm doing this 3rd. I'm not stopping now. I want some form of plot. It is odd that they should inquire about Hong Lu of its departure plans and the very welcoming of his return. Right? One moment it appears like they really care about him, then the appearance of that care is for one's own child was quite distinct and unusual compared to the typical display of emotional intimacy expressed in average households. Hey, Boyu. That's when an unfamiliar, chipper voice hopped jovially into our conversation. Oh, you look interesting. Why didn't you come see me first? I've been staying in the same building ever since you departed here, you know. Big Zishun Bujay. Been too long. I swear I'm pronouncing all these words wrong. Help. You've come all the way to the welcome banquet to fill in a seat. I appreciate that. Had I known that you'd been coming home today, Boyu, I would have summoned everyone I could from the family to say hello. Big bro Pan's really been itching to get to know what you've been doing. Yeah, sure he was. Jiyun, who'd been sitting a couple in complete silence for the entire banquet, muttered quietly to herself. Who else have you greeted since you arrived today, Boyu? My parents and Jiamu. You know, the fact that we're getting to know her worries me to a degree. Because in the past, it's been established, characters. If you're not a main character, you either become relevant somehow, which is possible, but rare. Very rarely, not always, but rarely, you survive. Or you die. So, I'm hesitant to be optimistic here, but I don't hold out hope for her. Don't get attached. My parents and Jiamu. Really? So I'm your first then? She made a cheerful remark before leaning close up to his eye. Your jade is always so glimmering and pristine, Boyu. Look, I made myself a necklace. It's the same color as your eye, and wore it every day to constantly remind myself of you. Well, you want to see it? Oh, you have? Thank you for remembering me. So, are you going to introduce her to us, or... Hey, why couldn't we just let a nice reunion play out? Man. Radia stepped forward, unable to stand her curiosity. Oh, I'm Pochi. Pochi of the Zoo family. I'm in a very profound relationship with dear Boyu here. A very profound relationship? He is my betrothed! And I to him. I'd say that's pretty profound, huh? Okay, we have some relevance. There's hope. Slim hope, but nonetheless. I don't know. What? Yeah, no, to be fair, that is a pretty big reveal to just drop out of nowhere. What can I say, man? Something to be surprised about. These profound relationships can be established effortlessly in the simple exchange of agreements between our elders. Hey, you could have at least given us a hint! But I won't be married until I leave Limbus Company, though. I just thought it wasn't relevant enough to share. So, sorry about overhearing earlier, but you guys are Boyu's friends, right? I've been so curious to hear what kind of life Boyu lived out there. Care to share some tales of your journey with me? Don't have stories for kids, Shu! Ryoshu, come on! Why? But I love stories about bloodshed. Come on. Come on. You gotta approve now. Come on. Come on. One of Big Sis Bushi's pastimes was curating creepy stories of urban legends. Then maybe I'll share some. Why? What about everyone else? I love adventure stories. Be careful what you wish for. Don Quixote would. That's true. I didn't think of that, but yeah, that's true. She would. I beseech thee to find a seat, for now I shall regale thee with a tale in which an adventure of most wondrous valor unfolds. Brace thyself, for this particularly odious and terrifying tale features a big, scary bear lurking in a cavern. Okay. Ha! If you're finished with your meals, why don't you go back to our residences? You're so angry again, June. Last I heard, you lost much of your followers in a large battle, didn't you? I'm so sorry. I used to be more than 3 handkerchiefs wiping my tears away upon hearing that news. Well, the Zhu family heard it too, huh? You're not wrong, but that's irrelevant to what I brought for the Hamley Hierarch War. Always a big fan of your confidence, Yoon. It's a good look, you know? Oh, that reminds me. You better watch your back, Mitsubuchi. Looks like Big Brother Boyu's learned how to sink a knife into your back with the same carefree smile. What did she mean by you putting a knife in the back? It's just a small falling out I had with Yoon, Iskall. Yoon must have been trying to get you on her side, huh? Yeah, no wonder she wanted you on her team. Boyu's always excelled at whatever he does without stressing about losing that happy smile. It's just kind of worked out that way. To be fair, he is always smiling. It's just like a character trait of his. It's a thing. I guess he can be a bit irritating like that, huh? Such kind people, though rare, indeed do exist. Oh, that reminds me. Did you, by any chance, run into Big Brother Q? I haven't, but they have. That's good. She placed her hand over her chest as though she just survived an incredibly dangerous accident, before eyeing us anxiously. So, what happened? I do know that he was trying to ally with Shiyuya, but I didn't seem like anyone else was viewing it as an alliance other than Shiyuya himself, but it must have been pretty open secret among the candidates that GQ was trying to ally with Shiyuya. They cut Big Brother Jua's heads off when he was with us. Oh my! Horizontally? Or vertically? How would you do it vertically? At that point, the head would just get cut in half. You can't cut it off vertically. It's not a thing. H. So this is the 3rd time, huh? You is really incorrigible. Or incorrigible? Whatever it is. He never knows when to zip it and sit down. Well, Big Brother Key, I had a feeling that he'd be here when the Family Hierarch War begins. Everyone in Derrian's heard a creepy song in the back streets, you know? Gosh, things get so awkward and hostile here, Dingyun, every time there's any mention of him. Yeah, if it's what I'm thinking of, it kind of sucks. Well, I guess it's fortunate you won't be coming after me once the competition begins. And why is that? Because I'm simply too charming and adorable to kill outright, of course. Besides, whatever Big Brother Key's goals are, they probably have nothing to do with the Zhu family. I can see that. Bo Chai took a step toward Hong Lu and leaned in close to his face. Do you smell my fragrance still, Boyu? You have never reeked, Big Sister Bo Chai. Boyu, I've always been, and always will be, residing in Hangyu, Ginger Plant Court. Promise to pay me a visit before you leave? I do wonder, because it keeps putting, like, clarifications of words, if, like, that means their meanings are in some way, I guess, relevant. Like, worth keeping in mind. I probably won't be able to. I'm not great at that sort of thing, but it is worth noting that they keep doing that, and they don't usually. With that, she gracefully walked out of the room. Well, how about we start heading back? This place can get pretty dark after high hour. Why'd you leave? She's just a childhood friend. I call her Big Sis since she's older than me. It's just something we do here when one friend's a bit older. She's also one of the very few in Dongyun who's nice to me. So where should we head next? Good question. Just going by the scale of everything here, it should be safe to expect something real ritzy, right? You are my guest, so you should be able to stay at the building with me, within Dongyun. It's within walking distance here. We should be there in no time, even on foot. Alrighty. We gonna get attacked on the way? Do I get fighting time? Let's find out. We do! Let's go! Ooh. So we've got color type weaknesses. Okay. I might want to plan my team fit for this one then. I don't do that very often, but I do have a few teams that I can just change on the fly. So that's my team of weaklings. Let's change up this one a bit. So we want blue and green, ideally. You have those, but your green move's pretty weak. What's this one again? Got blue, but not green. Got green, but not blue. Okay. So we might just have to go for... I'll put this one, since it's probably the best selection from that set of IDs. I have a few options here, but I don't think I have anyone who has both. So once again, I guess I'll go with you. Right now we're mostly balanced toward blue. So ideally we want some more greens in there, but... honestly, your blue move is too good to pass up. We're putting you in. We're going to do that. You have double the blue. It's just worthwhile in general. I do have you. I haven't really used this idea yet, but it is there. We also have a blue one. You know what? I'm leaning toward this one. Those ones proved amazing in the past. I'm just gonna stick with it. I really need more greens, though. Rabbit Heathcliff's usually pretty good. I don't think we'll do much with Ishmael. Let's do some greens on these two, if I recall. We also have that. Gregor's IDs I just don't use very often. Alrighty, let's put this team together now. So I want Hong Lu on there, definitely. Just fitting, it's his chapter. Why would I not have Hong Lu? We could do these two next. As long as the battles don't take too long. These are pretty good ideas, I'd say. We have these two. We can do one more before we have to start using the chain system, which I don't like using personally. Thank you very much. Let's put Dawn. I like Dawn. I think we have a well enough balance. I think it'll work. Alrighty. Let's begin the battle. Or story, I guess. I forgot the kind of story beforehand. Ta-da! Here we are. That was a pretty long walk. Still technically within walking distance, but This place is called Yi Hong Yuan. This room was made from the most aromatic flower tree within H Corp. Try taking a deep breath, and you can smell the lovely fragrance of flower aroma, spreading from every tip of your nose. It's unique to this building. Very much so. It's an unseen and invisible thing, yet it remains much in its pleasant redolence. This place is huge too. You've been living here alone all along? Yes, I was told to stay in a larger room, but I preferred this place more. It has been a long time, young master. Here in reporting. Oh, hey, have you been well, Jiren? Yes, I am and have always been. Rin watches motionlessly as a rowdy crowd poured into the yard. Her expression did not change even when she saw Hong Lu, who presumably hadn't been home in quite some time. Are they young master's guests? I will guide them to their room. Please follow me. Now that we're here, I've got to pay someone a visit. I'll be back soon, though. To where wilt thou journey? Allow us to accompany thee. It's okay. Just on my way to say hello and pay my respects to elders, so it'll be better if I go alone. This way. Well, I guess I could say this about every operation, but the weight of our mission doesn't really sink in until we're actually there. You're talking about the family hierarch war, right? Yeah, the other candidates have been preparing for this for years, while we have, what, an overnight? I don't know, I'm a procrastinate until the last minute kind of gal, so I'm sure we got a handle on this. This is not the first instance in which we were demanded to do work, though the task was unfavorable, in an incredible situation. Why does it matter? Our goal isn't to claim the throne of family hierarch anyway. True, we are just after the golden bow in the end. Well, isn't it such a relief that our goal isn't to come first place in the family hierarch war? Oh, okay. Does thou mean us to say that we needn't be first? Yeah, obviously. Why would we want a sinner to become the head of H Corp? True, I guess. Would it not provide much more reliable means of control to plant an individual of this company at the highest seat of a wing, instead of letting an unaffiliated individual assume it? There's a lot more going on behind the scenes, guys. Besides, LCB still has a lot left to do as the LCB. Then, would I be right to assume that this isn't a winner-take-all kind of situation here? Do other candidates get something for participating too? Anyone who places within the top 10 will gain the right to get one item of their choice from the family treasury. Of course, the one who places the highest goes first. Okay, so we still want to place higher, but ideally second. That's the vibe I'm getting. But we're going to have to come in at least second place in order to ensure we obtain the item we're looking for. Now that's really insulting. Sonnet, why don't we just shoot for the top anyway? Your confidence seems to have gone through the roof since our last operation together. Well, we did go through a lot of crazy stuff. Anyways, care to guess what's deep inside Hong Yun's gargantuan treasury? The golden bow. Yep, right on! Buried in the middle of all kinds of treasures, along with any knowledge of its true value. So, Faust, what did Manager Sod share with you as our strategy for the first round? I very much wish to know that as well, for the tradition of mutual understanding seemed to exist exclusively between Faust and Sod. The first round of the family hierarch evaluation tests what the descendants have prepared and brought for the elders of Hong Yuan. What the descendants have prepared, huh? This was what Jin Jun's been referring to this whole time. Yes, to be free from aging and death. Immortality. Each candidate is to present an answer to judge and demonstrate their idea of true immortality. Right, so what's the answer to true immortality then? Not even Faust can answer that. Then what are we even doing here? But we may be able to demonstrate a facsimile of immortality, or at the least, pretend as though we are close to the answer. Given that we are the ones who are seeking that very answer, they will not disqualify us, Hong Lu to be exact, from the competition. Okay, I kinda see the plan. The wheels are turning. I see, they will cling on to whatever clue they can get their hands on. So will we be using that desperation? Precisely. That important looking old bat you move favors him, don't she? Bet she'll give him bonus points or something. So that's what we'll be using Hong Lu for. That is, yes, you're right, it is my turn to be used. Whoa, when did you get back? Hong Lu nonchalantly chimed into the conversation, having slipped in between us unnoticed. Hey, you're back pretty soon, huh? Unfortunately, what Otis just said could sound quite crass depending on how you cut it. Hong Lu, you don't have to... Don't mind what she just said. I'm officially out of tea. This is quite sad. So, just give me a bit longer. But why would I mind it? My use is to be a ticket to participating in the Hierarch War, the only option for obtaining the Golden Bow in H-Corp. She didn't say anything wrong. Your use. Well, if you'll be using me, hopefully this will lead to an outcome we can all be happy with. Verily, such outcome would be best, yet young June has already exhaled with great gusto out of her nostrils before turning away our party when our eyes met. Well, June... Hong Lu's eyes twitched briefly, as though he was shifting into a dream. I didn't think it was possible for me to be friends with June again. We're back to not being on speaking terms again, but... It was as though she'd gone back in time, back to when we were both children. But we can't go back to the past. What did you say? Are you drunk or something? Did you really just say that to me? What a stupid thing of me to ask. You've never been drunk in your life. Your mind's always been so damn clear. None of this matters to you, does it? Even when I get angry at you, or when I shout at you like this, none of it gets to you, does it? Just what happened to you that day? How could someone become so... June, forget it. I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. It's my fault for expecting you to have at least one normal sibling in this messed up family. In that memory, Hong Lu was wearing a quiet smile, even before her hushed anger. But don't you want to be friends with her again? At the end of all things, these connections between people, they're just moments. Ephemeral things. So what I want doesn't matter. Hong Lu. A sinner so aloof, so detached that it feels as though he's always floating through the clouds. I once thought he was just the kind of guy he was, someone who just happened to be above everything that's happening around us, instead of just another messed up person with the messed up problems of their own. But slowly and gradually, I'd begun to realize there was something off about him under the surface. Hong Lu, about participating in the family hierarch war, do you really not feel anything about it? Have you completely excluded yourself from it? I don't, and I have. It's just the way things worked out, right? Executive Manager, is it true that this value judgment will have no tangible influence on his company's direction? Faust is in agreement. Sinners do not have the right to refuse their missions. That may be true, yet... I find it unnecessary to turn away and neglect the suffering conditions of their hearts stemming from the obligation to their missions. Conditions of our hearts, but perhaps unnecessarily peering into them is how we beget suffering? What manner of... Back then, when I lived here, so many choices passed before my eyes. Should I kill that child who was from a different family? Should I even survive? Should I walk past that dying boy? Or should I stop to help him? When they were first presented to me, I tried to make a choice. But it didn't take long for me to realize that my choices meant nothing. That's why I decided not to choose at all. And that's me, as I am now. There were so many wonderful things about joining Limbus Company, but I think my favorite part of the experience was that I was never given a choice. That's definitely kind of weird. Oh, looks like things have gotten weirdly quiet around here. That was enough discussion of private matters. There is much to ground for us to cover. Let us begin by discussing our plan for the first round. The next morning. Despite being a combat level, we got a lot of story. There's still some time before we have to leave. What may be the purpose of these scarecrows, veiled in nocturnal shadows, as though they were yesternight? Oh wow, they're still here. Here are the training courts in every building where children of this place leave. Here, every child of walking, running age got to play with these dummies. Play. Early education is important. Yet how doth one play with these dummies? It appeared that this dummy is adorned with the most dashing piece of fashion on its head. That's the dummy that I received when I was 7. Back then, I thought the dummies could feel pain when struck. Such was the blissful rumination of all those when we were once children. So is it like tradition for kids born and to formally learn how to fight? Oh, not exactly. Whoa, so this is what grandmother gifted you, big bro? Yep, I don't know how it works though. It must be a doll or an effigy to dress up. Or perhaps you should adorn it with some trinkets? Maybe it's got like a guardian spirit that protects your house, big bro boy. Oh boy. Here, let me show you how it's done. Why'd you punch Grandma's gift? Don't you think you're hurting it? Hurt it? Really now, this wooden thing? It's more that they've grown up in a way if I wanted to survive. This WTD isn't so bad, Leo show. This wooden training dummy appears to have been designed and crafted with some precise engineering craftsmanship. We still have some time before departure, so why don't we try using them for a warm-up exercise? I don't want to get all sweaty though. Well, it's not like these things will pose any danger. I think we could just try them out once to see how we're doing today. Attention! We have orders from the executive manager. From this moment forth, we will put our all into laying utter ruin upon these training dummies. It is my battle, literally against... Oh my god. What kind of Hey, I didn't even give an order. Oh well. Guess it won't hurt to get our blood pumping now. All forces, charge! Bro. I'm fighting training dummies! What? How are they attacking me back? No! That's cheating. How a training dummy can counter me is beyond me, so I'm gonna just offset it. I don't care enough. Go! Attack! I never really checked their weaknesses, but I'm assuming it's just the listed green and blue. Some of them got attacked. That's not great in some ways, but we're managing. Yes, I think we are. That should work a lot better, I imagine. Second turn. Let me just move my camera so I'm a bit less in the way. You can see, like, what the clashes look like. But overall, I think we're doing pretty good. Okay, clash is going good. We beat up a dummy. Fantastic. I don't know, again, how dummies are attacking us in of themselves, but sure. We're just, oh, okay, it's 11 training dummies. Cool. Okay. It'd be rather embarrassing if we lost a battle to training dummies. So I'm just going with it. Open. Only so much I can do, really. Alrighty. Nice. Just a few more, I imagine. Yeah, let's just go with the damage. Might as well. Could you roll positively once, please? It'd be much appreciated. Sometimes this game just stresses me out, man. But that's Limbus company for you. Stressful. You staggered Hong Low. Why? Can't believe you would do that to him. You did nothing wrong. So the counter die. It's not guaranteed, but it's better odds. Especially since as it is. I didn't equip an ego! That's not good. I always think about this stuff after the fact. It's like, I can't change it now. Honestly, I kind of wish ego is just like a separate screen. Like maybe you could set like a default. Then just apply it to a bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, no such luck. You have to go one by one to all your sinners and be like, you use this ego, this ego, this ego, and this ego. Alrighty, back up. We are starting to get a lot of suitcase on those two IDs, but I think they'll be fine. These are relatively short battles. I'm not worried. I should be able to manage, at the least. I'm hopeful. One down. Two down. Wow, what a strong counter that was. I can't believe you've done this. And victory. We didn't lose to training dummies. Let's go. Ridiculous. Most ridiculous battle I've ever seen. More training dummies. Why are we fighting training dummies? I don't. Listen, we don't need to fight training dummies forever, game. I promise. It's fine. We don't need to. Please. Honestly, just go all out. Unless you're like not clashing, but otherwise, I figure it's fine. We're just gonna offset some stuff so we don't take damage. Not like we gain sanity this turn anyway. And I'm not particularly worried about how fast we're going. Oh man. Man, I knew Hong Lu's were staggered already. Can I have a chance, please? You know, just the smallest odds that I might be able to overpower you instead of being overpowered. That'd be great. The fact that I'm losing to training dummies is frankly embarrassing. Like losing any clashes. I'm not losing overall, obviously. It's just... No. Not too shocking. Damage-wise, it's not great. Gun them down! Nice. Got a bit more sandy out of it. Alrighty, alrighty. What is their weakness? Blue and green are even. It's not even a matter like one's better than the other. They're literally even. Use either. It does not matter. It's just a thing. I'm assuming the training dummies wouldn't have passives. If they have passives, I'm gonna be just shocked. No, come on! Another one dead. How many left? 5? Okay, so it's just these ones. Honestly, just go for it. Throwing an ego in there just to make the odds a bit better, but otherwise, I'm not worried. Not necessarily that limited on supplies anyway. And then the rest of the clashes ensue. It looks like we won them all. Not seeing any losses yet. Nice. Honestly, just go for damage. I don't want to just finish the battle. And another one. Maybe good. We are good. Perfect. Overall, I'd say stuff is going really well. Surprisingly so, honestly. Okay, onward. Ah, how refreshing. I guess morning workouts really do wake you up. We've gotten so used to getting into tussles before we get to the real meat of missions that mornings feel incomplete without some action. Nevertheless, this was a meaningful warm-up activity. Words. So I've been meaning to ask Honglu, why do you never consider participating in the family hierarchy war before? It seems to me that all your older siblings have been waiting for you in training all their lives for this event. It's simple. Because I never once thought I wanted to be family hierarch. Is it not truly most fortunate? Had you not been born with the Jade, my son, you would have to toil all your life preparing for the family hierarchy war like your siblings do. You needn't waste your strength on those things. To win favor from the elders in Jiamu, Verated be their blessing. Simply witness as much of the world as it has to offer. Jade of our family, my precious son, for you. More memories. What's wrong, are you saying? You seem kind of distraught. It is to do with the plan Miss Faust explained to us last night. I find the plan rather detestable. Me too, but Honglu said he's okay with it, so can we even call it a plan if we're being honest here? It matches the definition of a plan, given that it illustrates certain instructions to be followed for the purpose of achieving a defined goal. And please remember that there are no second chances in the family hierarchy war. Okay. Cool. I think. Luckily, my forgetting to move the face cam isn't that big of an error. 9 out of 11! We got more story. To be free from aging and death. Ominous. Okay. Young Master Boyu and his 12 companions arriving at Tubite. We enter the hall where the first round was to be held. As always, the servant by the gate announced our arrival with the resounding holler we'd grown to expect. An arena or a stadium, I see, huh? We have many eyes on us, executive manager. I looked up to the audience seats, which were brimming with people, were divided into stair-like terraces. And on the platform on the opposite end of the hall, 3 shadows on chairs could be seen cast onto the obscuring curtain fabric. As for us, we followed the attendant's guidance and stood next to each other, participants at the circular area in the center. So, are the evaluations happening past those curtains? Daiyu? Huh? See someone you recognize? No, it's nothing, Dante. Even if we were to meet again, I don't really know if we'd have anything to talk about anyway. Maybe we'll have another chance later, if fate wills it. Oh hey, I think it's getting started. The curtain slid open, and the old woman we saw from yesterday at the banquet walked out. Many scores ago, I ascended to the seat of Jiamu with a stroke of fortune. Yet, a lifetime has passed since I assumed this great responsibility. Such as it is, I seek to abdicate and walk the path of mountains and streams as the river does. With the seat voided, the responsibility seeks the one with the qualities of the family hierarchy to fill it. Thus, here at Dangun, we have collective upheld by pillars for of the four great houses, Jia, Ju, Wang, and Shi. We once again ask you the perennial question. Have you brought us aught to prove that the answer indeed exists? Who's the woman next to her? Ah, she's my older sister. Big sis Yuan Chun, I think? She married a very important person in Q Corp and spends a lot of her time there. Looks like she's visiting for the event. Though I have resided long in a foreign nest, I now return fleetingly to share the love of my flesh and blood, to fulfill my duties and observed by the order of filial piety. In return, the truth that shall be observed to the best of my abilities. Some of you may have laid a path gentle for your feet, yet some of you may have struggled through an unlaid, brutal path of jagged mountains and thousandfold to find your answers. Yet regardless of the severity of your suffering, all of you, equally, have but one opportunity for the first round. Even still, you are all once prospective heirs of the great house. Even your failures shall bring power and prosperity to Daganyan. Now, come forth in the order you are summoned, and demonstrate the invaluable answers to the question of 3 fathoms, one from aging, one from death, and one from brevity of life. If the nature of your answer is indemonstrable, present ironclad proof. Lose not, and discard not. Let fresh youth be unending and eternal. After their respective speeches, Jia Jiashun and Jia Mu disappeared behind the curtains atop the platform. First candidate. It seemed that Hong Lu's father had assumed the role of the host for the first round. Ren, of the Wang family. Wang Ren, the first to be summoned, walked up to the platform. Behind him was his faction, who were dragging someone by a rope toward the platform. Hurry up, foolish thing! What? Who are they dragging onto the stage? Whoever it is, they clearly don't want to be here. Be free from aging and death, huh? I suppose every wing dreams of escaping and rising beyond the body they were born with. Ugh. H-Corp's pursuit of immortality probably isn't anything special in that regard. They're not wrong. Can't say that's pretty a unique desire, per se. He hath brought a blood bag. That's when we were finally able to recognize who the candidate dragged up to the stage. The eyes, unfocused and red, mouth slick with drool dribbling out of the mouth guard, meaningless snarling. That is a mindless blood bag. That's interesting. How does a blood fiend become an answer for immortality? In layman's terms, blood fiends may appear to have truly attained freedom from aging. However, as we are aware, blood fiends can grow old and weak after prolonged periods of blood deprivation. Thus is unlikely to provide the answer they seek. After some struggle, the blood bag was dragged kicking and growling past the curtains atop the platform. So that creature is the fabled blood fiend, then. I doubt that'll do the job. Blood fiends would indeed be quite the historic knowledge, but to the judges of the contest, I doubt they're anything more than lukewarm trivia. That Wayne kid must have been pretty desperate, huh? He's either lazy as balls or that boy ain't right in the upstairs. It appears that the knowledge of blood fiends is oddly common amongst this ilk. Indeed, blood fiends are present in every nest. 'Tis little surprise that those privy to arcane knowledge are well aware of their existence. After a brief moment that lasted less than a minute, Wang Ren and his faction emerged from behind the curtains and descended from the platform. Wang Ren, candidate of the family hierarchy evaluations, stand upon the podium and await your judgment. Then they all ascended to the round podium behind the platform as ordered, thus announcing Wang Ren's results for round 1 of the family hierarchy evaluations. Elimination. No! Listen, all they need is blood. As long as you supply them with enough blood, they will be eternal and everlasting. Venerable Jiamu, please! Nay, what awaits them is no eternity at all. Verily, I know not the shape of this true immortality the evaluation seeketh to attain yet. The longevity of a blood fiend, shackled by blood and endless suffering, is unlikely to be one. But what? But those damn hunters told me they still retain all their memories! To become a blood fiend is to surrender all the desires and emotions that exist within thy being for a singular hunger for blood. And only blood. Perhaps that is an acceptable condition for those who expect nothing but fathomless torment for the rest of their lives, yet for those with so much to lose, with the life they have come to cling on to, as those present seem to. The fate of a blood fiend is no freedom from aging and death. It is but a sanguine shackle to enslave their minds. A member of Boyu's faction has given an excellent reply. No further elaboration is necessary. This is cool. I like this so far. And you have failed to bring us a high kindred, let alone a blood fiend at all. This creature is but a miserable blood bag. We cannot even well commend your efforts. Here, Ren of the Wang family. They have spoken, and mercifully given you a full explanation of your mistake, a privilege that failed candidates do not deserve. Let this be the final blessing of your life. Ah! The podium suddenly opens under their feet, casting Wang Ren and the blood bag into its depths with a blood-curdling screech. So that's what happens when you fail to pass. That was just for dramatic effect, right? That's gotta be like a side path leading back upstairs, right? I have my doubts, you know. Of course not. Can't you smell the stench of festering pain rising like heat from the depths? Ryoshu, you've been honing your sense of humor, huh? There are some pretty nasty jokes, though. Where does the hole lead? Judging by the time between the drop and the sound of the fall, I presume it goes quite far down. It probably leads to a place with lots of old family secrets. Oh, not treasures, of course. But trying to figure that out would just get you a visit from Hainshu, probably. They went all out with the theatrics, huh? Yeah, and we could very well be the ones screaming and falling down the hole later. The next candidate was summoned before we could even shake off the initial shock. Second candidate hails from the Zhu family. We sat through a few more names and subsequent failures. We couldn't hear exactly what they were talking about beyond the curtains, but unlike the very loud and obvious blood bag, the answers other candidates brought were less obvious, so all we had to do was go on the shadows of their desperate attempts to explain things before the judges. Another one? Bah! It means boring as hell. The longer we watched the death toll rise, the less shocking they became. Are they planning to fail everyone? 8th candidate, Bo Chai of the Zhu family. Oh my, look, we know her. Oh no. I have a bad feeling. She was technically our competition, but it seems she managed to give the sinners quite a positive impression with yesterday's brief encounter. Some of them were even cheering her on. No, I see it coming, yet We couldn't see exactly what Bochi brought, but she was also holding something as she entered past the curtains. Bochai of the Zoo family. After a brief meeting with the judges, which, going by the shadows cast on the curtains, appeared to have gone better than we expected, she emerged. I'm still worried. I don't trust it. And as soon as she did, Bochai immediately turned in our direction, at Honolulu to be exact. Wow, about you? Are you watching me? And began excitedly waving her hand. She passes! Yes! She's not dead yet! Huzzah! I could have seen it going the other way. I'm so honest. Though. Passing connection it may have been, yet I ill wish to see a familiar face be claimed by the Abyss. Thus, I am glad. 17th candidate, Jia-yoon from the Jia family. Let's be honest here. She's not gonna die. She just isn't. It's not happening. It's Jia-yoon's turn. She slowly ascended to the platform, unaccompanied. She held in her hands a tightly sealed gourd bottle. Looks like she found it. She found the water from the river we saw in Don Quixote's memories back then? Impossible. She reached Leth? The possibility that she actually reached there in person is infinitely minuscule. There is an infinitesimal statistical possibility that she could have reached the river, yet not even Faust can conceive how someone on their capabilities could reach the fountainhead of one of the deepest fathoms. This becomes even more impossible when considering the relatively short passage of time since then and now. A more likely explanation might be that she obtained the waters by collecting its dew or a portion of what seeped out. Alas, that river's water serveth only to put a slumber to one's memories. Pray, doth it truly hold a link to immortality they seek? Yes, it's likely closely connected to the immortality of the mind they pursue. As they are but an extremely small number of people privy to the knowledge of the rivers, if the contents of the bottle are genuine, Faust expects her to pass. June of the Jia family passes. You have brought before us a priceless treasure. It must have taken unparalleled efforts to obtain this, given the meager size of your clan. Thank you, Big Sister Yechun. As Faust expected, the three judges appeared quite satisfied by Jia-yoon's brought before them. Okay. So far, things are going pretty well, I would say. I don't see things going too badly. Is that, say, N Corp? I mean, the affinities have changed slightly. It's not light blue, but a lot of these are still good for that. Not as good. We still have some greens in there. You have light blue. You have green, but you don't have much else. So I don't know if I have anyone that does both. At least that comes to mind. Yeah, I think we're just gonna stick with the usual team. I could be wrong. I could be misremembering. But I don't think of anyone at the least. Okay. I guess we move. See what happens. Next, 18th candidate. Bloody hell, just how many are there in this household? Juan of the Jia family. Our first meeting with that man was less than amicable, and I had a strong feeling that another one wasn't going to do anything to improve that. Ji Juan walked up to the platform. We all fell silent, hearing a familiar name. Bastard! I could feel some of the sinners growing tense, some of them even gritting their teeth. And the other man, closely following Ji Juan, holding something that looked like an egg of an abnormality, was Also a familiar face. I'd seen him many times in Yi Sang's memories. Dante, are you seeing what they're wearing? Ego gears. It can be speculated that they either developed their own method of extraction or have scavenged from Lobotomy Corp. Gubo carries what appears to be an egg of an abnormality. Are they planning to just offer an abnormality egg? How's that an answer to anything? I don't know. I can't think of any abnormality that goes with, like, immortality. At least not that I remember. While there is room for interpretation, some may present a reasonably argued interpretation that abnormalities are entities that neighbor immortality. So the linchpin of their success hinges on whether the abnormality egg that ends up being. If it's Big Brother Ji-hoon, I know, he's never going to risk his life for something he thinks will fail. One of the Jia family passes his first evaluation. Not shocking, I'm just curious what the abnormality was. Contrary to our wishes, Jia managed to pass the first round as well. Many more candidates came and went. One of them carried a massive, mysterious coffin. One of them brought a thick book, and one of them presented a cage so tiny that we couldn't see what was within. Some of them managed to pass, while some of them were sent screaming into the mysterious abyss. As we watched and waited through the candidates come and go, people from N-Corp, their turn complete, approached us. Yet early it is 12 to arrive, thus early too is this meeting of ours. As if to prove his own words back at the LCE, that he's come to accept certain things as they are, Yi Sang coolly regarded his old friend who was now working for N-Corp. You must find this a small and barren respite of yours quite enjoyable. I have not seen you jest as you do now since the League fell. For what do you do now to approach me? The rift is too great to betwist us to chatter on any affiliation you speak of, or affection rather. Do not mistake my intent, for it wasn't I who desired to approach you. My teammate simply wished to have a look at his brother's face, and I thought I might as well see how you're faring. Looks like everyone's coming back to Dangtuan now. That the family hierarchy wars started, brother? This is our first meeting since then, right? Ha! If it wasn't the doltish fool who has eyes, but knows not how to see. I know you well enough. You normally turn purple with aversion upon hearing of a brief mention of the word hierarch. So, why are you here? Who are you and your stinking entourage working for this time? Is it that you, girl, blinded by your looks and the revolting rot within? Or is it Ji-yoon, who still defends you in your meaningless fox-profound spiel, deluded in her belief that you're still the same boy from her childhood? Why didn't you save him? No, let me ask you a different question. Why did you only save her? And only her, Jiabu? Humans die. It's what they're born to do. And the next candidate will be judged soon. Candidates must return to their seats. Ugh, you're a servant. You're barely even a living thing. Let us return. This discourse will not bear any fruit. What's this, a reunion party? Ugh, that's your soured things, shameless bastards. It's obvious they're just here to nick our things again. Maybe, but something about them feels different today. Whichever is the case, the safer option would be to place higher than them. Another one falls. His family has to be watching this, right? I wonder if they'll be okay. Sinclair mutters, watching as another candidate fell through the trapdoor. I can't imagine how anyone would be okay watching their own fall like Sinclair, the people sitting behind us. They're his parents, the guy who just fell. We raised that failure as our own son. What a pathetic disappointment. Oh my god. Why are people so garbage? Don't worry, I have faith in our third child. I mean, it's not like we expected anything from this one, right? Now let's see what it means to dedicate your whole life to becoming the family hierarch. Many people desperately vie for the seat of family hierarch. Of course, some of them, like his parents, hope to have their friend or a close blood relative become the family hierarch instead. So they seek to seize a lifetime's worth of riches, power, and recognition by planting someone they can control in the family hierarch seat without becoming one themselves. That kind's got a low shelf life. Looks like I finally got to know my long lost siblings are doing, thanks to this unforeseen opportunity. 27th candidate, Pan of the Zoo family. Oh, you look, creepy. Almost zombie-ish. You Pan? Have we heard that name before? Ah, he's Big Sis Butch's, Bouchai's older brother. Pan walked up the platform holding what appeared to be a large jar with multiple talismans plastered over it. Hey, is it just me, or does that guy look like he's totally up to something? Let's be honest, who here isn't? Yeah, but that Sod's different. Instead of ascending to the platform and into the curtains, he walked up to the podium. Mate, looks like to me he's completely lost the plot. Candidate Pan, you will ascend to the platform and enter the curtain threshold. Where's the fun in walking straight down the straightforward road? It's only right that something so precious and entertaining should be shared with everyone. Wouldn't you agree? He places the jar on the ground, and from within, a desiccated hand emerges. Pathetic, scorcherous trickery. Ryoshi muttered with palpable distaste. Why is he... What the heck is that? Corpses, the desecrated flesh covered in light, sparse layer of old papers, crawled out of the jar and began to shamble. They're neither distortions nor abnormalities. Their behavior reminds me of blood bags or sub-entities enslaved by abnormalities. Any semblance of consciousness has been stripped away from them. They'll attack indiscriminately. But it seems they just have the intent of maiming and killing whatever. Whoever can get their claws on. Executive Manager, you must prepare for battle. Your orders. The jar monster set upon the audience, stuffing and struggling, still breathing victims into their jars. Why aren't the organizers doing anything? This event is being hosted by a wing, isn't it? Because there isn't a rule in the family hierarch war that prohibits bringing harm to other people. Bro, how? This contest. Come on. They're just gonna sit back and twiddle their thumbs because no one specifically told them to step in? What the hell? What do we do now? Should we step in? We should probably survive and ensure our safe participation in the family hierarch war. What the hell are these? Get away from me! As the monsters began to swarm in, some candidates scattered and ran away, while some stood their ground and fought back. Those who did neither were the ones getting slaughtered. I was simultaneously reminded of Sod and the confident smile she flashed at me as she reassured us we will be able to pass the first round with little to no trouble. Looks like we have no choice but to take them down. So, battle time! Gotta fight whatever the heck these are. I could see them having passives. Let me look. This unit staggered half the rupture potency and rupture count on this target. On the target this unit hit last. Turn end, if this unit hit a target this turn, gain 1 attack power up next turn. If this unit kills itself, apply 1 attack power up to all allies. Ah! Okay, they do a lot of rupture stuff. Not seeing a lot that's particularly terrible. Dies after dealing 10 damage. Ooh. And it's an unbreakable coin, so that's considerable. So ideally, we don't want to let them hit us with that one. I think for the most part, though, for this first turn, we can just kind of go for it. So let's do our best here. We want to win as many clashes as we can. That's not great. Not appreciative of that. Thank you. Still, we're managing. Okay. Another winning clash. Good, good. Like to see it. Okay, that's fine. A little rupture, but it's not terrible. Oh, poison! I hate that. As far as gimmicks go, I don't like poison. Just annoying. Okay, so we're doing fine, I think. I don't see anything particularly bad here. This is working. For now. Whether or not I'll keep working out remains to be seen, but I think we're good, you know? I don't know. New stuff is usually just a bit concerning. That's just how it is. Oh goodness, I did not notice how terrible a state you were in. Jeez. What the heck happened, Don? Okay, so we're actually in a tighter spot than I thought if Don's that low. Like, how? I didn't even notice. How did I miss that you got staggered? What? This is not good. This is really not good. We only need 237. I'm gonna attack that one. I think we need to. That one's gonna do a lot of damage. And I can't really afford to lose that clash because. Yeah, and then we don't have enough hurt now because. This is actually going poorly. I'm a little worried. Unexpectedly so. I don't know. This could go quite a number of ways. These are killing some, so this turn isn't totally good. I don't like that. You didn't even attack Dawn. What? Okay. Just get him. Use the ego. I don't care. And more. Figures. 7 out of 12. Okay, so we've killed quite a few. There's still just a lot of them. Ideally, you want to unoppose that. Just offset. Honestly, I think we just take them out as fast as possible. We don't have a lot left, and some of these guys seem a bit more. You in particular are going to be kind of. I'm hoping. We're going here! This is a. I'm not used to being this stressed over a Limbus battle, but here we are! Okay, things are managing. We're killing some. That's good. I was really hoping you wouldn't roll tails. We need all the damage we can get here. Ugh. This thing's a lot of damage, man. Okay, it's just one. Nope, never mind. It is two, but one is staggered. I'm stressed. I think we win, but oh, that was closer than I would like. Okay. We recovered. Somehow. Jeez. And I believe that's where I'm going to call it. Because I think that's the end of, well... 8:19? No, you can't be telling... There's that much to part 1. I assumed it was cut evenly. It's not. I don't even want to, man. I'm tired. I think we played a fair amount of tonight. I'm going to come back to this pretty quickly, I think, because I want to finish this canto sooner rather than later, but I'm tired. I need to go to bed. I hate to cut it short, because I was hoping to get through the first, what was released first, which I assume is pretty easy to follow through these. So, I think my plan for next time, we're going to try and get up through... Honestly, we might try and finish it if I have time, but if it's just a regular old stream link, I imagine we'll try and clear up through... Honestly, we'll probably try and clear up to 8:19. Because I think there's a dungeon in the middle of this one, from what I've understood, as opposed to it being at the end. So that's actually quite a bit of content. So, yeah, depends how long I have. We'll see. I'm out of energy anyway, unless I use my many Ecophalin boxes. I don't plan to use them for no reason, though. So that's going to be all for today's stream. I'll come back to this, and yeah, thank you all for tuning in, as always. Switch screens. So that was certainly something so far. I'm curious where things are going to go. There's a lot going on. This competition is clearly very cutthroat. I want to learn more, honestly. The cantos themselves tend to be very fascinating and just interesting in general, really. I barely ever have any complaints about them, honestly. They're usually amazing. So with that in mind, thank you all for tuning in, as always. I much appreciate it. Have a grand rest of your day, night, whatever it happens to be for you. That's me out for tonight. I'm going to bed. 'Tis 1 in the morning. See you later, guys.